Asimna Lobani. Asimna take a walk away in Dinka. Nayemele Kwabama Loha. Nishi Baswa. Was in Ikarunu. Samaya Badi. Mwala. And Utama Yabauru. Naga Kwari Ugu. Utaga Jikwari Ugu. Uguma Birika Waya. Ege Mepe. Shitu Dutua. Ne Rabalatona Bianihu. Oh, yes, in the Karunu. On the Caribbean.
To be fair and to kind of put responsibility on us as Africans, we're not doing perfectly fine when the Europeans came, right? We're not doing so well. Because if we had been listening to each other properly, we'll know that our languages are connected, you see. For example, look at this. We've put a compendium of just a compilation of English and Yoruba and Igbo words that are same. So just run through it real quick. So one is to know in English, in Yoruba, in Igbo rather, you say Yoruba rather, you say more. Right? In Igbo, you say Mara. Yeah. Person is Enio. We say Onye in Igbo. You say Enos in Hebrew. So that one goes straight all the way.
Sounding a bit similar. More Mara.
Yeah. So inside you say Ninu, and in Igbo you say Nime. Yeah. So here you say Ibi, you say Eba. Yeah. When you say Biane Eba, come here. Yeah. So come out, you say Bota. You say Puta in Igbo.
It sounds the same, just different.
Exactly, intonations. Call says be. That's to call. You say bo.
That's what I was to say.
Yeah, so stone, you say okuta. You say okute.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's so similar.
It's similar. It's just the last alphabet.
Yeah.
So you say in English. You say so. You say something like C. Now this C can be part of, like you say, it's a guinea. That means like, what are you saying? You understand? So that's the C right there. Satan. They say, well, issue is not really Satan, but that's the deity that you use within your Yoruba cosmology to try to. But you have Ekwensu within the Igbo language.
Yes.
You say what? You say kini. You say ogini. In Hausa, you say menini. Right? Yeah. In Hebrew, you say mana. It's actually closer to the Hausa right there. So place or house, you say ibudo, right? Or ibute. This ibute is literally when you say Beth in Hebrew. Oh. Right? Ibute in Yoruba means like a dock, somewhere you stop by and stay, like a tent, like a booth. Okay. In fact, literally a booth. It must have been where the English got their booth from, you see, because there's something called, which is around this time, interestingly, the Feast of Tabernacles, where they have the sukkot, right? And because they're always in tents, so wherever they stop is where they have their booth, right? Where they have their bute. Okay. So in Yoruba you say bute or ibudo. So this booth is something as what you have as Beth when you say Bethlehem, which means the house of bread, right? Like that, Bethlehem, right? You know, like that. So Beth is the Hebrew word for house. So you say Obodo, like you say Obodo Oyibo, right? That means the place of Oyibo people, right? Yes, something like that. So that's that. Time is Igba. Igbo says Ugbe. Yeah. Land, Ile. You say Allah. Yes. When you say Pishala, that means, you know, to bow your head down, it means to bow. So Allah is land. Ile is land in Yoruba. Beans, Ewa. Aqua. Goat, Ewure. Ewu.
That's almost the same thing, just the R-E added to it. Yeah.
So just like Isiewu.
After Britain abolished slavery in 1834, many Africans still continued it. In Nigeria, for instance, especially in Lagos, monarchs like King Kosoko and slave merchants like Madame Tinubu continued selling their fellow Africans into slavery. And don't forget Efunsheto Aniwura of Ibadan. It took Britain's use of force before that dark business could be ended. Now today, many Africans like to use this unpalatable part of our history to argue that we Africans have always been our own problems, never the white man. LOL. Yes, we had greedy and ruthless Africans, but do you really think Britain ended slavery because they had a change of heart? Oh, you thought they repented. They heard the gospel and gave their life to Christ, and then decided remorsefully to stop treating their fellow human beings as superior pets. Don't be funny. The racist white man has never seen the black man as anything more than a flat-nosed monkey. Slave trade was ended because it was no longer needed. Its time had expired. This was the age of industrialization. Human beings were no longer needed on the plantations because machines were now replacing manual labor. Feudalism had died a natural death. In fact, it wasn't only that slavery was no longer needed. Not only that, It had become expensive for them to maintain. It was now a financial burden. It had become bad business for them. That was why they stopped shipping your ancestors to their own lands to work for them, and instead, they brought themselves to your land to rule you on your land, enslave you in your own country, and then extract your resources to their own land. And that they called colonialism. Feudalism paved way for capitalism, and capitalism was the coach of colonialism. No, they did not have a change of heart. In fact, they did it in a worse way. They used force to stop the African merchants who were still selling slaves, not because they had now become humanitarians, not because they had now started seeing Africans as human beings. No, it was because it was spoiling business for them. It has always been about business. It has always been about money. Don't let them use bread, pack stew, come up for your plates. Eko kola. Ashiri.
5 African tribes taken during the slave trade and where their descendants are today. During the Atlantic slave trade, millions of people were ripped from powerful African nations and scattered across the Americas. These 5 groups shaped entire cultures across the Caribbean and beyond. The Yoruba, from today's Nigeria and Benin, were taken in huge numbers to Brazil, Cuba, and Trinidad. Their language, religion, and music became the backbone of Afro-Brazilian and Caribbean culture. The Igbo, also from Nigeria, were forced to Barbados, Haiti, Jamaica, and later the United States. From the story of Igbo landing to traditions of resistance, their legacy still echoes across the diaspora. The Akan, from modern-day Ghana, were taken to Brazil, Jamaica, and Trinidad. Akan names, beliefs, and cultural symbols can still be found across Caribbean islands today. The Congo people, from Angola and the Congo region, were taken to Brazil, Cuba, and Haiti. Their influence is seen in Afro-Brazilian traditions and in the spiritual practices that shaped Haitian Vodou. The Mandinka, from Senegal, Guinea, and Mali, were taken throughout Brazil and the United States. Their music, storytelling, and craftsmanship traveled with them across the Atlantic. These nations endured unimaginable violence and displacement, yet their cultures survived, evolved, and rebuilt new identities across the diaspora. Today, their descendants live throughout the Caribbean, the Americas, and across the entire global Black world.
Honor and respect, honor and respect, honor and respect. Divine all blessed greetings and salutations this New Year's Eve. Habari, Gani, and welcome to another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. Powered, produced, promoted, sponsored, and supported by NOIVD, New Orleans International Voodoo Day. New Orleans National Voodoo Day is now New Orleans International Voodoo Day. This shift in name reflects the truth that we have always carried, that voodoo is both deeply local and profoundly global, rooted in the rich soil of New Orleans and held in the hands of our community. Our work continues to center the vibrant traditions, practitioners, and spiritual leaders right here at home. At the same time, we move forward with deep gratitude for the international ties that were made during 2025 that made voodoo in New Orleans possible. We walk in the footsteps of those who carry these sacred traditions across oceans, guided by the ancestors and shaped by generations of resistance, resilience, and ritual. This change is not a departure, it is a deepening, a fuller reflection of who we are and who we are becoming. We will continue to honor the local New Orleans Vodou community as the heart of this event, while strengthening the sacred connections that stretch from Haiti to Benin and beyond. Thank you for growing with us and continuing to participate, support, donate, sponsor, and gather more information about this growing legacy of an event by visiting us at www.voodooday.org. Again, www.voodooday.org. VODOUDAY.org for more information, updates, and ways to connect and communicate with us about your ability to participate, volunteer, and be a part of this powerful, powerful event. And we're certainly thankful for those who continue to show up and support us here live in the chat each and every night. Our beloved community member, Dan O'Neill, we certainly appreciate you and yours for continuing to show up. And greetings and salutations, Chelsea Smith. We certainly do appreciate you for coming through on this evening. And I will be unmuting our beloved elder, Reggie Green Soap, the leader and founder of Shrine of the White Cloth, also a committed co-founder of NOIVD New Orleans International Voodoo Day. And we will be bringing him into the conversation momentarily. Tonight, well, first and foremost, we want to say Habari Gani, and the most appropriate response would be KUUMBA. KUUMBA meaning creativity. And so tonight we talk KUUMBA, Christmastide, Voodoo, and the New Year in New Orleans. Greetings and salutations, my beloved family, and welcome to this sacred moment in time. I am the Divine Prince, Pan-African Spiritualist, Practitioner, Author, Advisor, Elagoon, Oloye, Hoodoo, Obeya, Bokur, and Documentarian, coming to you from the heart of New Orleans and historic Treme, the city where the ancestors walk, where the culture breathes, and where every tradition finds a home. Tonight, we stand at a crossroads. The 6th day of Kwanzaa, the 7th day of Christmastide, the coming New Orleans International Voodoo Day, and the dawning of a brand new year. Let us walk this journey together. Today, we honor KUUMBA, the principle of creativity, but not creativity as decoration, creativity as responsibility, creativity as the sacred duty to leave our community more beautiful than we found it. KUUMBA is the drumbeat of the African world. It is the rhythm that survived the Middle Passage. It is the song that rose from Congo Square when our ancestors refused to let their spirits be broken. In New Orleans, KUUMBA is everywhere. It is in the beadwork of the Mardi Gras Indians. It is in the second line that turns sorrow into joy. It is in the gumbo pot that holds centuries of memory. It is in the altar that honors the ancestors, and in the brass band that refuses to let silence win. KUUMBA asks us, what beauty will you create? What legacy will you leave? Because creativity is not optional. It is survival. It is resistance. It is liberation. And on this 7th day of Christmastide, we also stand in the glow of Christmastide, the 12 days after Christmas. Tonight is the 7th day, the midpoint of a season of light. Christmastide reminds us that the holy enters the world quietly, not through power, but through vulnerability, not through a throne, but through a manger, not through domination, but through love. And in New Orleans, Christmastide has its own flavor: midnight mass and pralines, oaks wrapped in lights, families gathered in shotgun houses, and hymns sung in churches built on land once walked by maroons and queens of the old Congo dances. Christmastide teaches us that light is not a season, it is a practice, a discipline, a choice. How will we carry the light forward into the new year? Now we turn our heart of our spiritual work, New Orleans International Voodoo Day. A day born from the desire to reconnect New Orleans with the global Vodou family. A day that honors the lineages of Benin, Haiti, Louisiana, and the entire African diaspora. NOIVD is not just a celebration, it is a declaration that voodoo is alive, respected, and rising. And on this day, we honor the spirits, the Loa, the Orisha, the Voodoo, the ancestors, the saints, the guardians of land and water. We honor the Hogans, Mambos, Bokors, queens, chiefs, and root workers who kept the flame alive through centuries of misunderstanding. We honor Benin, the birthplace of Voodoo. We honor Haiti, whose revolution reshaped the world. And we honor Louisiana, where African, indigenous, Caribbean, French, and Spanish traditions blended into a spiritual gumbo unlike any other. And New Orleans International Voodoo Day is a bridge between continents, between lineages, between past and future. And so we ask, what does it mean to be a keeper of tradition? What does it mean to stand at the crossroads and say, we are still here? And now, as the sound of fireworks crackle ever so loudly outside my windows, a brass band swells in the distance. And now, beloved family, we arrive at the threshold of New Orleans Day in New Orleans. Here, the new year does not tiptoe in. It arrives with fireworks over the river, with brass bands in the streets, with black-eyed peas and cabbage simmering on the stove, with prayers whispered to ancestors and spirits alike. New Year's Day in New Orleans is a ritual of rebirth, a cleansing, a resetting, a moment when the Mississippi herself seems to inhale the past and exhale possibility. The city teaches us that survival is an art form, that joy is a strategy, that culture is a shield, and that community is salvation. The community is our salvation. And so we ask, what will we release with 2025? And what will we carry forward into 2026? What will we build in the year to come, above and beyond our third annual, now International New Orleans Voodoo Day? As we close this opening speak and we close this gathering, let us stand in the fullness of who we are, children of Africa, children of the diaspora, children of New Orleans. Tonight, beloved, and Elder Reggie, tonight we honor KUUMBA, the creativity that sustains us. Christmastide, the light that guides us. New Orleans International Voodoo Day, the spirit and the vocation that empowers us. And New Year's Day in New Orleans, the rebirth that renews us. May the ancestors walk with us. May the spirits bless us. May our creativity flourish. And may our light shine so bright. May our past be clear. And may our coming year and years beyond be abundant. Ashe, AYIBOBO, and Amen. So mote it be. And again, we certainly thank you for your continued dedication and support of this Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time podcast, powered by NOIVD. I certainly thank you for your continued support in Facebook, in LinkedIn, in Instagram, in YouTube, and Twitter, X, and certainly for showing up to participate here in the live chat. Please do come on in now, Elder Reggie. Greetings and salutations to you and yours. I'm sure you have powerful words to share with us as we close out 2020. Bring in.
Yeah, blessing, Divine Prince. I appreciate you doing this tonight. There's a million other places and things you could have been doing, but your dedication feeds my dedication, and I appreciate that. But if I could, Divine Prince, I want to just read a passage from Wikipedia, and it's dealing with 2025 in New Orleans. In 2025, New Orleans was met with a tragic. We pray to the ancestors, we pour libation now that tragic or anything of that nature do not rear its ugly head on the city of New Orleans going into 2026. And what I'm speaking of, I like to read. The 2025 New Orleans truck attack was an Islamic terrorist attack that occurred on January 1st, 2025 at around 3:15 a.m. when Shamsuddin Jabbar, a 42-year-old African-American Muslim man, rammed a pickup truck into a crowd on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, Louisiana, then exited the truck and engaged in a shootout with the police before being fatally shot. 14 victims was killed, plus the perpetrator, and at least 57 others were injured, including 2 police officers who were shot. The attack occurred during the New Year's celebration in the city, which was scheduled to host the 2025 Sugar Bowl later that day. So with me reading those words, all our loved ones who are going out to the city tonight, or no matter what city you're in, if you're going out to festivities, keep your head on the swivel, be prayed up, and try to mind your business. Because even though we move in faith and we work with the ancestors, the Orishas, the evil ones are always lurking and seeing who they can devour. Now, with that, I just wanted to pour the libations in reference to that. But yes, let's honor KUUMBA, creativity throughout the year of 2026, and also the 7th day of Christmastide. Let's be merry, let's be cheerful, let's have drinks, let's do toast, and let's be merry, but let's be mindful at the same time. I pass it back to you, Divine Prince.
And certainly creativity goes beyond, creating beauty and pleasure and culture and art, creating new ways to combat the challenges that we face each and every day in society, beyond the holiday seasons, beyond the festivities and celebrations. Certainly for New Orleans, our holiday season begins roughly around, I would say, Halloween, and extends beyond the 12 days of Christmas, well into the observance of Lent and the beginnings of Carnival, and culminating with Mardi Gras Day, which this year I believe falls in February, but I don't have the exact date. Certainly in front of me.
Yeah, Divine Prince, please. It's February the 17th.
February 17th is Mardi Gras Day, Fat Tuesday. So certainly we carry the spirit of KUUMBA in not only bringing beauty, and culture to our world, but in creating new ways of combating the challenges, the illusion of the challenge, issue, blocks, complications that we all continue to face each and every day. In my house, I call it weather. Weather is going to come, whether it be the snow, the rain, the hurricanes, the wind, the dry seasons. It's weather certainly will come, and humans find ways to mitigate, prepare for, protect, and defend against the weather. But indeed, it's something that we learn to adjust and to roll with. And certainly, we don't seek to adjust to roll with terrorism or negative demonstrations, wicked and evil demonstrations in our world. And we continue to invite you to come out and be a part of our new moon ritual celebration, the next being on January 18th. where we are actively working against and combating the darkness, the spiritual wicked in high places, the rulers of the wickedness of this world, wherever they certainly may be found, and more importantly, who we are dealing with and challenged with in the more immediate. We understand that, this isn't a target of a single person, place, or thing. This is a system, a well ingrained, well organized, well rooted, well programmed system that we are all seeking to unravel. So we continue to invite people of various denominations, various practices of the arts, and certainly the dark arts, to come and join us at Cluet Gardens on the new moon of each month. Uh, this month, January, falling in spirit of Capricorn, in the astrological sign of Capricorn. But continue to find creative ways to confront and mitigate the challenges that we all are confronted with. How do we better our health? How do we better our hygiene? How do we better our spirit practice and our spirit routine and our adherence to our sun calendar rituals and our moon calendar rituals? How do we show up better for ourselves and for others? And find ways of being much more creative in those activities and in those endeavors. And we certainly continue to invite you all to come out and be a part of our individual houses and communities. Certainly, there's always something happening beyond just initiation, consultation, divination, and services at House of the Divine Prince and Hoodoo Central LLC. Elder Reggie and Shrine of the White Cloth also has continuing ongoing services. I believe every weekend in the lower ninth ward. So we continue to invite you to be a part of that. And we certainly continue to invite you to come out and join our much larger umbrella house, La Source Ancien on 4 Peristyle at 3319 Rosalie Alley, New Orleans, Louisiana, on Saturday evenings at 6:30. This Saturday at La Source Ancient, we will be honoring and feeding on this wolf moon and the first moon of the year for Papa Legba. And I'll be sharing a little bit more about the wolf moon. Many of you already know it. It sort of is symbolic of the wolf hollowing at the brightest, fullest moon in January, which also sort of celebrates the ending of winter and the return of the sun to our hemisphere and the warming coming days. And we acknowledge Legba at the beginning and ending of all prayers, all rituals, all ceremonies, globally in the ATR diasporic tradition. Legba is one of the deities that made the transatlantic slave trade and is found throughout the Pan-African diaspora. He is a counterpart to Limba. He's a counterpart to Eshu and Ilegwa. But certainly these trickster deities, these gatekeepers that open and close doors, are also assisting us in opening and closing the doors of our seasonal changes into our coming year, as well as our activities and our endeavors. So we continue to invite your support, your participation, and your creativity as it relates to those endeavors. And certainly, we invite you to join us again tomorrow night on the seventh night, the final night of Kwanzaa, where we acknowledge Imani, meaning faith, and the eighth night of Christmastide. I will certainly allow Elder Reggie to wrap us up with any closing words that he might have. And I'll again just run the advertisements on the screen. Always a blessing.
Okay. Yes. Thanks, Divine Prince. Beautiful word said. What I like to do, if I could, and we're moving into a new year, I just want to close reading a prayer, an ancestral invocation prayer for the collective audience. And also for those, if you could take a spiritual bath tonight, if you could just be at ease and at peace with yourself tonight, if you're not going to none of the festivities, just try to say some prayers for your family members, for those that's passed away, and for your community as a whole. And I like to just read an ancestor prayer for us all to bring in 2026. My lifted ancestors, guides, fierce protectors, and skilled healers, please stand with me in my community. Be with me in this moment and guide me along my road with a cool head and a clear mind. I am root of your root, soil of your soil, bone of your bone, and blood of your blood. Not deaf to our sincere cries, nor blind to our honest placations. Keep the gifts of perfect health, wealth, and prosperity close, so that we may honor and grow your legacy. I have not forgotten my commitment to my community, to our lineage, and I vow to never forget. Thank you. With that, I read, Lest We Forget. The spiritual medicine of voodoo brings healing and relief from the shackles of slavery that binds the master and the slave to the same chain of social division. And in NOIVD, we work in every day, as Divine Prince mentioned, with the moon ritual once a month for the community. We are trying to work on social cohesion. We are trying to heal the divide, because we need to divide as we move forward in 2026. With that, I say ashe, ashe, ashe. Good night, everyone. We love you. Happy 2026, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night and Odabo. Peace and love.
Please, allow me to show you something.
They say I'm crazy. crazy and that might be true. I got this right in my DNA, yeah, I'm coming for you. It's time we turn the table, strip these motherfuckers on you. I wanna see you hanging from trees, it's time you pay for your dirt and your showtime. You created the monster, you created the beast. Now all this savagery you just gon' reap. I'm coming home, daddy, to the plantation, and I'm taking the lives of everybody, including the children, on some Nat Turner. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. I met my girl Harriet at the gate. If you wanna know how she doing, yeah, she straight. But she had one question: when we gon' get up? All that talking tough, yeah, we don't walk it tough. She got it locked and loaded, got that piece up on her side. She looked me in my eyes and said, "Meet you ready to ride?" Moving forward, you gotta use both eyes. Watch your front and watch your back. Keep your hands up on your game. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. He sit at the table, but he don't order no bacon. He greet me in those words, assalamu alaikum. Got them glasses on his face and them waves in his head. He go by the name of Detroit West. He looks me in my eye and says, "You only get one try. Know that your biggest opposition will come from the inside. I know you wanna love them all, but don't even try, because they'll smile up in your face while plotting your demise." Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down.